This podcast is made possible in part by the Kent County Medical Society Alliance.
Welcome to the Be Nice podcast, where we will dive into conversation to help us recognize and have knowledge to take an understanding and take action when it comes to mental health, mental illnesses. The Be Nice action plan is simple. There are 4 steps: notice, invite, challenge, and empower. Put these together and we can change, improve, and save lives. Together, we'll share stories on this podcast where you'll learn the action plan and learn potentially where it's being used, how you can use it, and then in addition, how you can save lives. Our guest for this episode is Kristen Mazur, the Human Resource Director for Atonne Group, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, where you will be updated on more podcasts to come and those that we have hosted in the past. But first, as always, we're going to bust a mental health myth. Today's mental health myth that we're going to bust is mental health does not affect businesses. Oh yeah, let's explore this and see why that isn't true. What we know is that depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide over back problems, heart disease, and liver failure. Over $1 trillion in worldwide productivity is lost per year due to depression and anxiety disorders. Depression, yes, it does interfere with a person's ability to complete a physical job tasks about 20% of the time, and it reduces cognitive performance about 35% of the time. So what do you do if you notice these things? And so again, what we have a guest who works in a business, and in fact, she's going to tell us a little bit about Atonne and how big it is with a ton of responsibilities. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about how these companies implement Be Nice into the culture of their companies. So joining us today is Kristen Mazur. Kristen, can you introduce us? Tell us a little bit about your job and about the companies.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. As far as the Atonne Group goes, we represent 13 different businesses that are all owned by the same family. And these businesses are wide-ranging. Now, they're primarily manufacturing, but we are in a lot of different industries. We have just over 1,000 employees now that that are in our businesses, and my role in this business is an HR director.
That's a big responsibility.
It is.
Come on.
There's a lot to it. There's no question. It's never dull. Mm-hmm. So as far as HR goes, each of our businesses has an HR team member. My job is to help and go into each business to make sure that their HR team is supported, and through they're working with them and their leadership team, we come up with strategies and projects and initiatives to make sure that our groups are, being safe at work, that they are supported throughout the day, and they have the tools that they need to do their job.
Excellent. I remember the first time that I went to Atonne to a meeting, and it was a meeting of all of their leaders, and it was at your headquarters, and it was in a small room, and I had a PowerPoint, and as the guests started arriving, I noticed that 95% were guys. And so it was wild, because I knew immediately that I was going to be challenged with the stigma that goes along with mental illness, mental health disorders, and also with suicide. So at that meeting, I left, and I had met, it was another HR director before you came on board, who I know that his supervisor, who was the CEO of the company, really wanted the program. And so, but I knew that it was going to be a challenge to get through that leadership group. So when you arrived on the scene, I believe that Be Nice was already being implemented. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely had the banner on the wall, and we maybe pushed a flyer here or there when we needed to.
So what did you think about it when you came on board and they said, yeah, we're doing this program called Be Nice? Sure. What was your first feeling?
Well, I heard about it in schools. I have kids that are in the schools, and that's kind of where I'm like, oh, well, it sounds familiar, but how do we utilize it here? And it really kind of wasn't able to connect the dots as far as how were we really utilizing it and what could we be doing. So we took a close look at the Be Nice program because it is really cool. It's a great easy process. It's, a great tool to have. We just have to make sure that we're cascading it out as much as we should.
Right. And so tell me about, okay, so your title with Be Nice is you are the Be Nice liaison for this company. So you're handed this product. Tell us about what your roles and responsibilities are as a Be Nice liaison, because oftentimes, and there could be companies that are listening right now or people that work in an HR department. Describe a little bit about what that role of Be Nice liaison is.
Sure. So being a liaison, I get to work hand in hand with Be Nice and kind of the people that manage the Be Nice program through Be Nice Business, and then I cascade that onto our groups and businesses. And what that means is how do we set this up and how do we make it successful at each business? And that's kind of on our vision. What does Atonne see this being at all of the companies, and how do we do that? So it's taking a step-by-step approach and really breaking it down into some steps. How do we make sure that we connect with all the employees? So we started getting some involvement there. We started asking who wants to be on a Be Nice committee, and kind of taking some initiative there as far as how can we make them more impactful at each of their businesses, so that we have liaisons within each business, because one person can't do it all. That's definitely not how successful programs are going to work. So we brought that down into each business and got involvement, so that we could kind of have champions at each of our businesses. And so then I take the information from Be Nice, cascade it down to all of our champions and liaisons, and we go from there.
I love it. And why is it important for workplaces, and why did Atonne prioritize something like this, mental health education?
Sure, that's a great question. As we look towards, the obvious answers for business, we want to reduce our absenteeism. We want to make sure that people are productive at work. That's, of course, business 101, but it goes above and beyond that. And that's where our leadership, our CEO, as you mentioned, she has a care for people. She wants to be people-focused, people-centric, first and foremost. And this program really allows us to do that, because it says, if you're not mentally healthy, you're not going to be your best self at work.
Oh, exactly. I love it. And it's that whole, when we hire an individual, we put so much energy into training that person, and they're excited. You can see that excitement. And, sometimes it lasts 6 months, a year. But then all of a sudden, when someone loses that ability to be productive, right, to have a good attitude and to engage in satisfying relationships with other co-workers, right? I love the action plan and how simple that is, where I can jump in and help that person get their mojo, or whatever they had when they first started their job. Let's get that back. How can we get there? Do you see that the program has made a difference in that whole, and again, I believe your companies, I always say, it's got to be 99% guys. And I do. And when I go in, every now and then you'll have me as a guest to come in and, cheer them on and say, hey, we're here. Be Nice is here making a visit. Thanks for making these fire engines, or, everything that they do. I look out and I'm like, man, I get the chills, because I'm talking to the most at-risk population, and that is middle-aged men. And you have the host from 18 to 70-year-old guys that I'm talking to. Has it made a difference of having the conversations?
It does, and it has helped leadership a lot. Because, it all starts with our leaders and how we do our business and how we run our business and how we treat our people. And we've had some very specific trainings in relationship to that Be Nice model, and that has just cascaded down, and that has helped our leaders be so much better. I mean, we had a leader shortly after, I think we had you in to talk about the Be Nice model, and he was dealing with an employee that unfortunately was struggling. And under normal circumstances, this supervisor told us that he probably would have just went through and just said, hey, John, get back to work and go do your job. Not, hey, John, are you okay? Yeah. It gave him a different set of tools to be able to go to that conversation, to go to that employee and really dig into what was going on.
Absolutely. And also, it means a lot when your supervisor is able to notice that. And oftentimes we're not taking the time to even notice the good, the right, so that I can notice those differences. I remember being in one company, and a gentleman in the audience, I was doing a presentation, and I asked if they had an EAP, Employee Assistance Program. And this gentleman raised his hand, oh, yeah. And I said, well, tell me about that Employee Assistance Program. Well, it's where you go when you're about to get fired. And I'm like, whoa, that's really not the truth. That is a myth. So tell us, have you instilled an EAP program? Do you utilize an Employee Assistance Program within your culture? Is that an available benefit to folks? And how does Be Nice complement that program?
Absolutely. It's a partnership. We do utilize an EAP program, and we do have our points of it where we use it for a mandatory referral when we have to, but primarily it's there for our employees to utilize in conjunction with Be Nice. So when we do see that somebody is not acting themselves, we absolutely have cards in our pockets where we hand out the next steps of here's what you can do and here's what you can take. And we've had upticks in our numbers since joining Be Nice, that this has just been more and more utilized.
That's great. And I love it because oftentimes it is definitely the most underutilized benefit that people have available for them. So what do you think, what's been the most rewarding part of your work as this business liaison?
That's good. I think it's seeing the action plan and take place, take initiative. It's helping somebody that maybe not have realized the depths of where they were until somebody might go and ask questions and take this. Being able to participate in the Be Nice symposiums and the advice that has left our groups with has been instrumental. It's been great takeaways and all helps us to think a little bit differently at the end of the day.
I love it. Give us an example of an activity that has been done. Because I know that there's some activities, and oftentimes in a business world, you don't have time to do an activity. But I want our listeners to know it's kind of simple things that we can do to implement Be Nice.
Sure. In order to make it successful, one thing we do is we focus on Be Nice Week every year. And it does change a little bit when we host it to kind of keep it fresh, keep it new. And every day that week, we plan a small activity. One of those activities can be as simple as a wall of gratitude, where you take a sticky note and you just write what you're thankful for and you put it up on a wall. And after a while, you look at that wall and it is full of all good things.
Love it.
And the next day, we're having an ice cream social. And then we watch the Be Nice movie with some popcorn. So every day we do something just a little bit different. But it just kind of helps really solidify that Be Nice model message.
I love it. And that's what I love about the program is it really is customizable to your companies. Mm-hmm. And so, and I love that we have someone assigned from the Mental Health Foundation where Be Nice is headquartered to work with you. So what are some of the extras that you get from that person at the Mental Health Foundation? I hope it's something good.
It is good. It is good. We get lots of contact and connections to make sure that the program's, meeting our needs. We get newsletters and lots of monthly updates as far as what's going on in the community, what can we participate in, and what can we push out to our employees that they might not be aware of. So all those are really, really good communications. And then when it comes to even planning our Be Nice Week, we partner with that business professional to help us come up with what should we be doing and what are some new ideas that maybe we haven't thought of. Yeah,
I remember driving by one of your locations one day. I was on my way downtown and something was going on the highway. And I passed and they happened to be having a walk that day. And what I noticed was all the employees were outside, and it happened to be that they were taking time for that reduction of stigma, right? Walking in with each other around the outside of the building. Was that something that one of the champions planned? Was it initiated by anyone, or? It was one of the champions, yes. She just wanted to take one of their breaks, one of their 15-minute breaks throughout the day, and say, let's just take a group walk. Let's just, walk for our mental health. And that's what they did. It was a huge success, and everybody liked walking together. I love it. Sometimes, oftentimes when we're about to launch, I'll look out in my audience and I'll know the eye rolls are out there. I think that's part of the hidden treasure about Be Nice is it's just not just to go out and be nice. It's just so much deeper about having an understanding about our relationships with coworkers, about the importance of being nice, and then in addition, being able to recognize the onset of those mental health disorders. what would you say to folks making decisions about mental health education and the power of doing something like this within a culture of manufacturing, a culture of just people in general?
Yeah, as you started with this podcast, it's difficult. Only from the aspect of it's not always something that's easily embraced or talked about. But the more you talk about it, the easier it gets. And if you have that collaboration and you have that dedication from the top, it's a wonderful program. It helps making the conversation so much easier. It gives everybody the tools that they need to be able to go in and notice, invite, challenge, and empower.
I love it. We've been partners for a long time. I mean, I'm going to say 8 years. I'm just going to put it out there.
Sure.
But what research has been found when we did our study on our programming is that it's got to be implemented for at least 2 years, better yet, even 3. When it takes time to have it sink in and everybody on board. So when you have new employees, is that part of the training that they're going to learn about?
It absolutely is.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our onboarding is sometimes maybe over the top, but
Yeah.
there's certain things that we like to instill.
Love it. Beyond just where the bathrooms are. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to give them the extra.
Yep.
And this is the extra. And Be Nice is absolutely something we make sure that our employees understand when they start that we are a Be Nice business and that why it's important. And so we involve kind of a video. We involve just kind of making sure that they know what the program is more than just sliding over a flyer.
Love it. We just became a Be Nice business. Yeah.
You're
And
catching
so,
up.
kind of funny, but, we've got a few new employees, and one employee said, why aren't we a Be Nice business? And I'm like, okay. So we sat back, and I pretended like I'm the CEO of this company, the Mental Health Foundation, and introduced it to the staff that I had made this huge decision to bring this program on board. So now we're going to be testing out some of the activities, and I'm really looking forward to it. So it's all official. I just can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your day to be on this podcast. We've got a variety of different subject matters, but I think this one is so important that we are busting that myth that mental health does not affect businesses. We've explored it. I want to thank you for being here. We might call you back on another occasion to do some more digging in. But today I want to thank everybody for listening to today's episode of the Be Nice podcast. And together we busted a harmful myth and learned from Atonne Group's integration of the Be Nice business program. We hope that the more we talk about mental health, we can continue to break down the stigma. It is the number one barrier to people not seeking help and treatment. So encourage the Be Nice action plan. Notice, invite, challenge, empower. I invite everyone to go to benice.org. Take the pledge today. Learn what it means to implement, notice, invite, challenge, and empower. Don't forget, if you know someone or you yourself is struggling with the onset of a mental health disorder, you have challenges in your life, you have the inability to find a solution to an ongoing situation, call 988. There is someone willing to sit there, take your call, and listen. Also, 741-741, text Be Nice. Start the conversation today. Also, remember, you can make a difference in people's lives. Notice, invite, challenge, empower. Be nice.
This podcast is made possible in part by the Kent County Medical Society Alliance.